16 months into this pandemic, and it's time for an injection of the truth and a rejection of the lies about the COVID vaccine.
If the vaccine is so great, wouldn't it sell itself? Why should people who have recovered from COVID-19, and there are millions of them in this country, who are immune to the virus, why should they be forced to get the vaccine? What's the answer? What is the harm rate from the vaccine?
If you're watching COVID coverage on Fox News these days, you may have come down with a case of whiplash. Some anchors like Tucker Carlson are spreading anti-vax hysteria, while others like Sean Hannity are finally dealing with the reality that vaccines are saving lives.
Please take COVID seriously. I can't say it enough. Enough people have died. We don't need any more deaths. Research like crazy. Talk to your doctor. I believe in science. I believe in the science of vaccination.
That's great, except Hannity walked back those comments a few days later, saying he never told anyone to get a vaccine. And over at Fox and Friends, Brian Kilmeade presented his line of thinking.
If you didn't get a vaccination, that's your choice. And if you did, like I did and they did, and maybe you did, then you should not wear a mask. And if you didn't, if you want to go cliff diving this weekend, you don't have to check with me. It seems a little dangerous, but I'm not going to judge you. And if you go ahead and put yourself in danger, if you feel as though this is not something for you, don't do it. But don't affect my life.
99% of the people who are dying from COVID are unvaccinated.
That's their choice.
They don't want to die. So they are. The administration and the government is saying we need the mask mandate to protect the unvaccinated.
That's not their job. It's not their job to protect anybody.
He just said something about cliff diving. Cliff diving? If you cliff dive and you die, you die. Just you. You don't take out the rest of your family. Here's where that analogy is a big belly flop. Many of the most alarming spikes in COVID cases around the country are in areas with low vaccination rates. Nearly all of the patients who are being hospitalized with COVID right now are unvaccinated. That's right. People who had access to the vaccines but didn't get the shot are getting sick, and many of them are now dying. A large number of those Americans reside in Trump-leaning states. That's the reality, where people choose to get their information from outlets like Fox News, the same network that has been peddling lies about COVID for months, while demonizing this nation's top scientists.
Tony Fauci is too big to question at this point. Quote, "Oh my God," one Biden voter wrote to Tony Fauci back in March. "Is there anything I can do for you besides being grateful?" "Wash my feet with your tears," Fauci may have responded. We can't say that he did respond that way for certain. We don't have his reply.
That's so foxed up. But Tucker is always foxing around, isn't he? That foxer. He really should talk to his buddy Neil just down the hallway.
He has been vilified to the point that you'd think he was, Lex Luthor. And I don't know how productive that is.
I think it's unfortunate that we have to attack an individual who has such an important role in our society.
It's just odd to me, but at his core, he's a good man, a good doctor. And we all got to just step back, take the chill down.
Yes, chill, dudes. One reason for Fox's Fauci fever, maybe they just can't handle the truth when the nation's top infectious diseases expert calls out misinformation. Remember what Dr. Fauci told us last week on this program.
We probably would still have smallpox, and we probably would still have polio in this country if we had the kind of false information that's being spread now.
Personally, I like getting my COVID information from a leading scientist, just like you want a pilot flying the plane, or the best soldiers in the military to take out the bad guy. Don't hire the guy who's watched Red Dawn too many times. I get it. I love that movie's battle cry. Wolverines. But seriously, the misinformation surrounding the vaccine is just plain nutty, considering the fact that the former president has been taking credit for the development of these life-saving injections for months. And Trump has been doing that on, Wait for it, on Fox.
And I would recommend it to a lot of people that don't want to get it, and a lot of those people voted for me, frankly. It's a safe vaccine, and it's something that works.
You'd think that, after hearing that, Trump supporters would be lining up for their shots, which begs the question, why not make Trump the vaccine salesman in chief?
Would President Biden ever call former President Trump and say, I need your help, let's cut a PSA and tell people to go do it?
We've seen almost every former president play a role in putting out a PSA, making sure people understood in the country that the vaccine is safe and effective. We don't believe that requires an embroidered invitation to be a part of.
Sounds like the White House is a bit hesitant about that, perhaps for good reason. What would that reason be? Maybe because Trump can't be trusted to stay on message, to say the least.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute, and is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
And that's the problem. We are 16 months into a pandemic of misinformation. So many Americans don't know what to believe anymore. We've been injected with lies about masks, about vaccines, and about the virus itself. No wonder we have been a nation divided and dying. Consider what I heard from Trump supporters at a rally in Michigan last September.
Why are you not wearing your mask?
Because there's no COVID. It's a fake pandemic created to destroy the United States of America.
I'm not afraid. The good Lord takes care of me. If I die, I die.
If I die, I die. Hold on. Here's a thought. Don't die. Live. Live. Is it really a surprise that so many people have bought into the lies about the vaccines in this country? There are the conspiracy theories that the vaccines are being used to track people with a microchip. Not true. Or my favorite, that the vaccine will make you magnetic. I mean, it might get you more dates. But no, your keys are not going to stick to you if you get the shot. Though I used to be able to do the spoon trick when I was a kid. I was pretty good at it. But I digress. Tens of millions of people eligible for the shot are still not vaccinated. That's where we are in this country right now. They could get the vaccine right now, but they're not going to do it. Here's a thought. Don't wait for Fox to get its story straight to save yourself or your family. Fox and Friends is not going to become Vax and Friends, folks. I got news for you. The lies are not going to save you. The truth will. I have an idea for the battle cry for this pandemic. It's not Wolverines. It's vaccines. Vaccines.